back to Off the Chart. We're here and ready to process episode 3 of Gen Q Season 2.
This season, we are once again watching the L Word Generation Q with you, bringing you our unfiltered take on the new series reboot every Tuesday, because of course, we can't get enough of those LA lesbians.
I'm Sheltering In, managing producer of Video at Extra, and I'm pretty sure that Bet is a Scorpio, but I still want her to explain art to me.
No, wait, I'm also a Scorpio. I'm Erica Lenti, senior editor at Extra, and I want a prospective lover to buy me a pony.
Buy you a pony? What about just a horseback ride?
No, they have to buy the whole pony.
Let's jump right into themes. Erica, what did you notice in episode 3?
Yeah, it's kind of cliche because so much of the episode is around this poker game, but I think that the theme is like taking risks. You know, we see obviously Shane and Tess taking a big risk with their game, which we'll talk about later. But even in folks' personal lives, we see, you know, Micah taking a risk at his new job. We see Angie taking a risk when she goes to meet her half sister. Alice is willing to take a risk and try this polyamory thing with Nat. So I think there's a lot of gambling going on. Is it all going to work out? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Lots of risky business this episode. So let's recap. Okay, so let's get started with Finley and Danny and Sophie. Finley is eager to talk about what happened, but Sophie is not ready yet. Danny gets movers and empties out Sophie and Finley's entire apartment.
She took everything. This is my life, empty except for you.
Eventually, Sophie admits that Finley saved her from marrying Danny. Meanwhile, Gigi gets cozy with Danny when Gigi helps her find a new place, but Danny's dad might not be doing so well. So, Erica, what do we think is going to happen with Sophie and Finley next?
Is it bad if I say, like, who cares? You know, like, we were excited to see it when it was, like, fresh and new, and now it's just, like, a marriage almost got broken up. I mean, well, it was about to be a marriage. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it.
It might be a slow burn for them as they explore what might be possible, but yeah, like you said, let's forget about them. Let's talk about this new love triangle that may be forming. What do you think about Bet and Gigi and Danny?
It's weird. It's like a wild card. I wasn't really expecting Danny and Bet, and especially not Danny and Gigi, to end up in one another's orbit, just because I felt like the whole Danny Bet work crush thing was like a bit of a red herring. Like, I think we all expected Danny to cheat on Sophie instead of the other way around. So now that it's happening, I'm a bit like, I'm not too sure. And I really love Bet and Gigi together. I think they're such a great pairing. I did like Danny and Gigi's chemistry, but I almost feel like, you know, Danny just got out of what was about to be a marriage. You know, she was ready to spend her life with Sophie. She was ready to have kids. You know, she can have some fun. Let's not, you know, shove her back into a relationship so quickly.
I like that that Danny's dad seems to like Gigi a lot more off the bat, simply because she's Persian. If any of our watchers or listeners out there can translate what happened in that scene, we would love to know what they said. But yeah, it's nice that they can have this connection based around their cultural similarities. So it'll maybe not a relationship, but it'll be interesting to see what develops there. And then, of course, we end the episode with one of your favorites, Erica, another cliffhanger where Gigi is dropping off Danny at Danny's father's house, and there seems to be ambulances everywhere. So what do we think is up with Danny's dad?
I don't know. For some reason, I'm like, oh yeah, Danny's dad is definitely dead, which sounds really horrible. Maybe they're setting up Danny to have a storyline where, like, everything she knows crumbles. Like, she doesn't have the support of her dad anymore. She doesn't have the support of Sophie anymore. And she has to completely rebuild herself and find herself again. Like, I do think she needs some character development. And what we're seeing with Gigi has been great so far, I think. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Am I too morbid in thinking he's dead?
No, because it is the L Word, and they like to throw in twists and turns, so it could be possible. I do like this take that you have that, like, maybe they're building up Danny to have, like, this crumbling storyline so she can redeem herself from it. That would be very interesting to see. And perhaps Gigi isn't, like, a romantic endeavor, but maybe Gigi will just turn out to be, like, a like a touchstone for Danny in a way, like someone that she can rely on in place of her father, maybe something happening to him. So we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, Erica, let's talk about Bette and Angie. First off, Angie learns that she has a half sister named Kayla Allenwood. Bette is pretty peeved that Angie went ahead and did the DNA test, but in the end, Bette supports Angie, who meets Kayla at a coffee shop. Meanwhile, Bette sees the work of an old artist, Pippa Pascal, who had stopped showing decades ago. A blast from the past that has her super stoked. Do you think Bette's going to be able to meet this artist, Pippa Pascal?
This Pippa person is definitely going to come in and shake things up. Like, I am almost certain about that. Maybe we will have another weird Carpenter, Bette jail sex thing. I don't know why I'm like, I don't know why I think that's going to happen. Maybe it'll be some weird, like, or Jody Bette on the sculpture sex scene. Like, I'm picturing some original series, Bette Porter sex scenes with this mysterious artist. I'm very excited.
And I think the showrunners are already kind of setting it up that way. Like, Bette has just called Gigi her girlfriend, but is already like snapping at her about, toggling between paying attention to her and like parenting her daughter. And like, she seems upset when she's trying to explain art to her. And then all Gigi wants to do is have wine. So maybe that relationship isn't going to pan out the way that we thought. And that would leave Bette open to explore something with Pippa.
I did that day-night website thing.
And I specifically told you not to.
So, Erica, what do we think of Angie's sister?
I'm so stoked for Angie. That first scene, the opening scene of the episode where she runs to her computer because she got the results, and then she realizes she has a sister, and it's like, "Hi, I'm Kayla." I was like dying on the inside. I'm so excited that she's gonna have this connection, and I think it'll be really good for her. Like, she clearly wants to know, where she's from, her ancestry, and here's someone who can give her some insight into that. Someone who's around her own age. I thought it was wonderful. And I thought the meeting at the coffee shop was just like the cutest thing ever. When Bette asks Shane and Alice if they think that, Angie and her sister look alike, and they're like, yeah, like that was just super cute. So I am all for this storyline, as per all Angie storylines. Bette needs to like calm down a bit also. Like, I know she was upset about Angie going behind her back to do the DNA test, but like on one hand, like I totally get, where Bette's coming from. I also totally get where Angie is coming from. It must be like, as a teenager, it must be incredibly difficult to like want to do this thing and know it's right at your fingertips and have your parents say no. And then Gigi was like just trying to help. She came in with like some great perspective. As a mom who didn't biologically carry her child. So I thought it was really unwarranted. And then I'm like, Bette, I love you, but you're really being a bit of a bitch. Like, try harder. Gigi's the best.
Scorpio vibes. That's what I said.
Oh God, you're right. You're really right.
Okay, Erica, let's talk about Shane and Tess for a moment, because they are finally putting on their first real poker game, and it looks like it's swinging in there. But unfortunately, there's a creepy dude who sexually harasses Tess, and in retaliation, Tess takes a portion of the winnings, which is illegal, but customary? Do we have any projections for how this poker game is going to play out through the season?
Yeah, it's like really sketchy, right? Like, I'm kind of worried for Shane and Tessa's safety at this point, which is like not what I expect when I'm watching the L Word. I kind of want to get away from that. But I feel like they're building up to something like either Lena Waithe's character is going to come back, which would be awesome, because then we could flesh out that character some more. Or this creepy guy is going to realize that Tess took some of the money. Like, something weird is going to happen. I'm just getting like feelings about it. I don't know. How do you feel about all of it?
I mean, I care less about the poker game, and I'm all about the flirting game. I want to see these two finally hook up. But actually, that might be a distraction. If they get hot and heavy and are not paying proper attention to the game, like that might be what causes something perhaps horrible to happen with that. So it'll be a bit of a juggling act. Okay, so let's talk about Nat and Alice now. Nat has gone on her first date with somebody else, and it's pretty awkward for Alice. Alice ends up stalking Nat on her date and realizes that she can't really do this polyamory thing. She tells Nat that it's over and then she leaves. Is this the end of Alice and Nat?
I don't know. I mean, we talked about this in the last episode. Like, it's got to be really difficult to reconcile both sides here. Like, Alice is obviously very monogamous. And then we see Nat after her whole declaration in the last episode where she's like, this is who I am. And like, if I could change it, I would, but I can't. She's now, changing her tune saying, but I love you, Alice. And like, we're not going to do this. And like, I'll stop. I want to be with you. And I think that Alice realizes like, she can't change Nat and it's not going to work. So I don't know. I don't know how they reconcile that. It feels like if they try to, they're forcing two people who have different needs together. I don't know how you feel, but I don't know that I would kind of love to see that happen unless like Nat realizes that actually the whole polyamory thing wasn't for her after all. But that would kind of feel a little contrived.
I mean, I think it's important to remember the other storyline going on with Alice in that she's writing this memoir and she seems to be getting closer to her book editor, Tom, played by the amazing Donald Faison. He's so cute.
My editor, hi!
I like to think of myself as your guru of texture.
Because they seem to have chemistry. So maybe they've introduced this book editor character as a way to transition Alice away from Nat. And, we did get a reminder that Alice is indeed a bisexual. And so like to see her engage in a relationship with a man again might be interesting. I wanted to ask you, Erica, as an editor yourself, what do you think of Donald Faison's character as this book editor?
I like him. Like he's doing the hard job of like trying to get someone to dig deep into their life when, Alice is obviously trying to be very surface level. So I love it. And he's so funny and their comedy, like it really complements one another. I really enjoy seeing them on screen together. I loved him blathering on about how he could never do polyamory and it would like kill him on the inside. He kind of reminds me of me oversharing to writers or something. Like I think that I probably blather on and say the wrong thing all the time. So I like him, but we were talking about this before the recording. I think if Alice is going to be single and she's not going to be with Nat, I think what I would like to see is her go out to the forest and do some like ayahuasca or something and have like a weird like to just like hallucinate Dana and for us to have a Dana Alice reunion and then maybe she can get with Tom. But I want to see Dana again.
Yeah, isn't it so LA to do ayahuasca anyways? Let's see it happen.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about Micah and Maribel because some good things are finally happening to Micah. He's got a new job with Nat as a counselor, but he feels a little pigeonholed when he's only getting trans clients. Maribel teases him and encourages him to stand up for himself, which he does, and as a thank you, he takes her out on a horse riding date. Ooh, what do you think's in the future for these two?
I love them. I hope they end up together. This is like the Micah dream that I had, happiness, someone who can be like fun and kind of mocking and teasing, but also gets it, right? Like, I think Maribel is so good. I love Jillian Mercado in this role. She is so funny. The part where she was like, once I wanted a pony and my mom said no, and life is not fair. I was dying. Like she is so good. Yes. And I think she's such a perfect match to Micah's like weird sad boy thing going on right now. Like she brings levity to the situation. And I love it. I'm all for this ship.
Okay, it's our favorite part of the episode, our superlatives round, where we each pick our favorite moment from the episode. Erica, what was your pick?
I'm sorry, I'm so predictable, but Angie running to meet Jordy and be like, I have a half sister was like the cutest thing I have ever seen.
I have a sister. I have a half sister.
Oh my God,
I got my results back today.
I am just so obsessed with them. And Jordy being like, I'll come with you to keep you safe. I was like, oh my God, you're perfect. Once again, Showtime, if you ruin this ship, I will quit the podcast. It's just how it's going to be. All right. Shell, what was your favorite moment from the episode?
Well, I will continue on this cute ride and say that Micah and Maribel this episode were just adorable. She comes with Micah when he starts his first day, and her line is like, "I just always love an excuse to start work late." She's just so funny. Micah is wearing a very nice crew neck, which Maribel reminds him just as he's about to start his day. And then, of course, as the thank you, he takes Maribel on that horse riding date. So they're so cute. I love, their flirting vibes and whatever's happening there. I would love to see that ship take off the dock.
I'm obsessed with Maribel. She is so funny and
So
is
funny.
like the embodiment of like everything I want to be. So please, let's get more Maribel.
Well, that's it for this episode. Tune in next week when we talk episode 4 of Gen Q, and we'll see who else hooks up. I'm Sheltering In.
And I'm Erica Lenti. Off the Chart is produced by Shelteringen. Our technical producer is Lido House. Our executive producer is Rachel Giza. And our music is by Kid Coolit.
If you like Off the Chart, please like and subscribe, leave a review wherever you get your podcasts, and feel free to follow us on Twitter at Extra Magazine. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. So you never got the moon shoes? No.
No, I never got moon shoes, but I'm sure like maybe my fiance will buy them for me if I tell her.
There's a wedding present that just screams love.